Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you some of the books that I want to reread pretty soon. I'm a person who likes to reread books a lot because while we read a book which we've already read before, the story that we experience from the book is totally different most of the times while we read it for the second time, because I like backtracking a lot, and the experience that we have while getting to read the story when we know it already is totally different from reading the story when we don't know anything that's going to happen in that one. And that's one of the main reasons I like rereading. And the reasons for the books which I have chosen for this list are that they are either my favorites which I want to revisit pretty soon, or books which I have started in a series and put down a long time ago, so I have to continue on with the series and reread those books. Without any further ado, let's get into the books right away. The first one in this list is one of my favorites, all-time favorites if you ask me, and it is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. Okay, this was one book which I read way back in college when I was in third year. I read this in 2018, so it's almost 3 years now, and this was my first ever John Green book. Okay, I did not read The Fault in Our Stars or Looking for Alaska as my first John Green book. This was my first John Green book, and till now this is my most favorite John Green book so far. I've got like 3 of his books left to read, so I'll definitely read them sometime in the future, but as of now this is definitely my most favorite. I like this better than The Fault in Our Stars because I'm able to relate with this book a lot, and I can also easily say that John Green has put a lot of his own personal experience with OCD in this one, and that's what fleshes the character as well as the layers that he has given to this mental health issue that he's encountering in this book. And I should say he has done a really awesome job. The reason why I want to reread this now is because I have improved a little bit due to some of my effort when it comes to my obsessive compulsive thoughts, and I definitely will have different feelings while I read it this time because I'll be able to understand, but I'll not be experiencing the same things that I used to experience before. So I definitely want to go forward and read this again. It will not even take that much time. Okay, it'll take like 4 or 5 hours max. It's not even a big book. It's under 300 pages I think, and I definitely want to reread this sometime soon, and let's just wait and see when it's going to happen. The next one is Eragon by Christopher Paolini. This is the first book in the Inheritance Cycle Quartet. Okay, I have the entire series and I have not read past the first book at all. Okay, the books have been sitting in my shelf for nearly 1.5 years now, all the 4 books together, and I should say I read this way back in 2019. Okay, while I was waiting to get into my training for the job, and the time when I finished college, that vacation time of 2 to 3 months, that was when I read a lot of my most favorite books, and this was one of the books which I read in that time. Okay, it's a huge book, so it did take quite a lot of time to read it, and I should say as of now I don't remember most of the things that were going on in this one. I definitely want to finish that series because I own it completely, and I don't like to keep owned books in the shelf just like that without reading, especially when it comes to series. So just in order to continue and finish that series, I have to read this one. And I also heard that Eragon is one of the series which is very classical fantasy. I do like classical fantasy also a lot. If it's fantasy itself, I love it a lot, but classical fantasy is something which I don't read that much, and I have not read that much in the past also. So definitely I will try to reread this as soon as I can and progress on with the series, because I know if I pick this up next time and don't continue on with the series, I'll not be picking up the series for quite a while because there are multiple other books which I want to read right now, and I definitely want to get to this very soon. The next one is also the first book in a series, and it is The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. This is the first book in the Devabad trilogy, which has 2 other books. The second one is The Kingdom of Copper, and the last one is The Empire of Gold. All those 2 books came out in the past 2 years. Okay, after I read this book, I was like very astonished because the world building that the author has done in this one was so extremely good. Okay, it did not feel like boring at all, yet she just made each and every speck of that world very visible to us. The writing in this one is excellent. Okay, you can definitely, if you like beautiful prose, if you like nicely immersive worlds, I'm definitely sure that you will like this one. Okay, it is also a very highly political fantasy book. The magic system is really intricate and good. Okay, it's not revealed that much in the first book. I think it will be in the further book, but the ending of this one is definitely a cliffhanger. So if you are a person who doesn't like cliffhangers, try to buy the books together, all the 3 books together, and then read. I definitely want to read the next 2 books and finish this series, and I should also say I don't remember most of the things from this one except the main plot of the book. There are also multiple things going on with the politics of this kingdom in this one, so I definitely want to reread this and continue on with the series. I'm definitely sure that I'll do it. Okay, it's an adult political fantasy if you ask me. I cannot say it's grim dark because it doesn't feel grim dark, but it is definitely a very highly political fantasy story. The next one is a romance book, and it's definitely one of my most favorite romance books, and it is this one, P.S.I Love You by Cecelia Ahern. Okay, the reason I want to reread this book is very stupid. Okay, the only reason why I want to reread this is because of this edition, okay, which I received for free for my 99 books card video. And I should say, the first time I read this one, it was such a very sad and hopeful experience. Okay, I just loved reading this book the entire time. My brother read it last year and he too loved it a lot. Okay, ever since I got this edition of the book, usually I don't like movie tie-in editions at all, but this one, it just brings out the mood of this book pretty well. Okay, it is so gorgeous. It is a very sad story. It's a very hopeful story. If you have not read this book, please do go and try it out, because I'm sure that you will definitely not regret it, because it's such a beautiful story. The cover might look a bit misleading, like a bit sexy, but the story is definitely not. It's very beautiful, and ever since I saw this cover, I have been wanting to reread the story a lot. Okay, I wanted to read this for Valentine's Day itself, but I had many other books going on during that time, so I did not read it. I definitely want to read this sometime in the future as soon as I can. The next one is a pretty recent read for me, and it is The Kingdom of Back by Marie Lu. Okay, this is one book which I've not at all heard many people talking about. It is definitely famous, but most people who read it end up not liking it because it is a very sad story. Okay, there's nothing that happy about this. It's only about the story of two siblings who fall ill a lot, and they are very talented. Okay, it was a very beautifully written story, guys. I think the writing in this one is almost lyrical, because every person who reads the same line can definitely resonate with it in different ways. Okay, I felt the book to be in a different way while I read it for the first time, but I'm definitely sure that if I reread this sometime in the future, all the things that I saw will be different for myself, because I was able to sense that while I read the book for the first time itself. I have talked about this particular tendency of this book's writing in my review as well as in multiple other videos. For that reason itself, I want to reread this one. It is sad, so I definitely will read it sometime in the summer, not definitely in the winter. If you like very good writing, okay, and if you like nice differently woven fantasy worlds and good transition between reality and fantasy shown in the book, I can definitely recommend you this one. It is definitely not a happy story, definitely not a fast-paced one. It is very sad and very slow, yet very beautiful. The next one is another one of my all-time favorite books, and it is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Okay, I read Six of Crows also nearly 2 years back now, and I definitely say that I'm starting to forget most of the things that were there in this one. I remember all the 6 characters properly and how they behave and who they are, but most of the things that go on with that heist portion of the book, which is the best apart from the characters, I don't remember that much of. I'm sure that the first season of Shadow and Bone is not going to have a lot from the actual Six of Crows books. It's going to be a prequel for the Six of Crows books, so there might not be that much from these 2 books. So definitely I want to reread both of these soon, and I'm sure that while I reread these 2, that is Six of Crows as well as Crooked Kingdom, I'll be making review videos for them, just like I did for Shadow and Bone trilogy. So yeah, if I end up reading this one, I'll also have some fun videos coming out, so I plan to read this very soon. The last one in this list is actually a trilogy, and it is also one of my all-time favorites, I think, and it is The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. Okay, I've already read the Mortal Instruments. I love those characters, but in this one, I love the romance and the plot a lot more. Okay, if you've been following me since 2020, I'm definitely sure that you know how much I love this book, Clockwork Princess. Okay, the epilogue of this book destroyed me and made me love it for that reason itself. I want to experience that climax of this trilogy all over again, and I'm planning to reread this sometime in 2022, because Chain of Thorns, which is the last book in the Last Us trilogy, will be out in 2022, and it is the sequel for the Infernal Devices, right? So while starting Chain of Gold itself, I thought of rereading these 3 because it was, but I did not end up rereading them because the time gap was so low. Okay, I finished reading the Infernal Devices in November and I started Chain of Gold in January itself. That was just 1 month's gap. I didn't have the time, or I didn't think it was necessary to reread the entire trilogy during that time, but I definitely think that as this year passes, some time will be passed and I definitely will have that desire to pick this up again and read all the 3 books. My most favorite of all the 3 is definitely this one, and so far from all the Shadowhunter books that I've read, Clockwork Angel is my most favorite first book in a series, and yeah, for all these reasons put together, I definitely want to reread these 3 books. And also I saw that there is an idea for an adaptation of the Infernal Devices coming sometime. Okay, it'll be awesome to see, especially the Infernal Devices. If you've read the series, you know what the Infernal Devices are, and this is definitely the last series which I'd love to reread, and definitely the series which I'd love to reread the most. So yes guys, these are some of the books which I want to reread, and don't forget to leave your anticipated rereads in the comments below because I'd like to know them. And if you did enjoy watching today's video and found it entertaining in some way or the other, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel because I publish new videos every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.